Hi, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are on r/Am I the Jerk? And let's just jump right in and find out if any of our OPs are the jerk or not. So, our first story is titled, Am I the Jerk for Calling My Daughter's Father Spineless and His Girlfriend Creepy over their name choice for their daughter? I suppose we'll find out. A little bit of context for you all. I ended up falling pregnant with my 10-year-old daughter during a drunken hookup with a friend in my mid-20s. Not the most glamorous or flattering truth, but it's the truth all the same. When we found out, we decided to keep the child and co-parent while remaining friends. We were never a couple, and we didn't want to be one either. Well, good on you, for knowing that and sticking with it. 4 years ago, he began to date his long-term girlfriend, and they moved in together last year. I hate this term, fell pregnant. You don't just fall pregnant, but whatever. And I've been supportive to them both as much as I could be without crossing any lines. I've encouraged my daughter to help out whenever she's staying with them during the pregnancy and to behave. I've also made it clear that I want the children to have a close relationship, despite having different mothers. I've even said that if they were comfortable with it on nights I have my daughter, if they want time alone, I babysit once they have the daughter so my daughter can spend time with her sibling. Well, that's really nice of you. All in all, I thought everything was going great, and I was excited for my daughter to have a sibling, as she's always wanted one, but I had no interest in having another child. 3 days ago, my friend and his girlfriend had a daughter. They asked me to bring my daughter to the hospital to meet her little sister yesterday, alongside others of the family, so I did exactly that. But when they introduced us to the baby, I was shocked. They'd named they'd used my daughter's name. Anyway, she didn't seem to have any issues with this when she introduced the baby, bold as brass. My friend seemed uncomfortable and wouldn't look at me directly. I asked them what they were playing at which point my friend's father said he'd take my daughter down to the cafeteria to get something to eat and left with her. My friend told me to calm down and not overreact, while his girlfriend told me she didn't see the issue, and it was a pretty name. I asked them if they'd named the baby for my daughter, trying to understand the logic here, but his girlfriend said that no, it was just a pretty name and she liked it. I then asked if they planned to use a nickname or a middle name when addressing her on a daily basis, and her response was that she didn't see a need for that. I told her they were being ridiculous and that they couldn't do this. I then told his girlfriend that I found this frankly creepy and told my friend he was being spineless if he was happy to go along with this. He tried to claim our daughter could use a nickname or something, but I shut that down immediately, asking why it was more reasonable for a girl who has used that name for a decade to shame her name compared to a baby who had no concept of what a name was yet. His girlfriend told me I was being a jerk, talking to her like that after she just gave birth, and asked the nurses to remove me, saying I was being disruptive. Maybe my temper is running a little bit too hot, though I was too harsh on her when she just gave birth. It was just so freaking weird. Edit. I'd also like to state I know that what they want to name their child is their choice. They could have called her Dinosaur for all I care, but this is one name that should be off limits or adjusted. They even have the same surname as they have the same father. Something about it just felt malicious or deliberate, as if she's trying to replace my daughter, and for them both to be springing it on us like that at the first meeting, no, that was weird. Yeah, that is extremely weird. So, like, if your daughter's name is Sarah, they also want to call her Sarah. So both of their names would be Sarah Smith. That's extremely strange. Like, And you're right. Why not? I mean, this baby was just born. Unless they've already gotten the birth certificate, it wouldn't be too late to change the child's name. I don't think you're being a jerk. I mean, your daughter has had this name for however old she is. I don't know that you said, but years. You're right, years. She's gotten used to this name. There's no reason for her to go by a nickname. Um, the baby could have a nickname or just rename it altogether. This is crazy. There's no reason for this. Absolutely insane. Next story. Am I the jerk for calling my sister an attention seeking person after she announced her pregnancy? Disclaimer, this is my first time using Reddit after a friend recommended it to me, so please bear with me if I don't know all the correct language. About a week ago, me, 24 female, my brother Jack, 26 male, my dad, and some other close family members went on a trip to Tunisia, where my mother, who died in a car accident about 2 years ago, was from, to discover a little more about her life and our ancestors. On this trip, my brother decided to bring his wife, Julie, 26 female, and I brought my husband. Up till now, I had had no issues with Julie, as I don't know her very well. She and my brother met and got married during the pandemic and live quite far, so I have only seen her 2 or 3 times before this trip. So the incident occurred on the second to last day of the trip when we all went out to dinner. I think that it is important to note that this whole trip was to remember and celebrate my mother, who died around the beginning of the pandemic where I live, so we didn't get a proper funeral for her, and the day we went out to dinner was her birthday. At the beginning of the dinner, my dad said a short speech, basically thanking everyone for coming and honoring my mother's life. Before he even got the chance to sit down, Julie stood up and announced that her and Jack are expecting a baby. The entire table went silent, with only a few quiet congratulations. Instead of reading the room and sitting back down, Julie ran up to me with a big, obnoxious grin and asked me if I was excited to be an auntie. I stayed silent, trying not to ruin what was left of this train wreck of a dinner, and she said that she was just trying to lighten the mood with some good news. This is when I cracked and yelled at her that she wasn't trying to benefit anyone but herself, and that she was a selfish, attention-seeking person. I walked out, followed by my husband and then my dad. From what I gathered, the dinner was pretty much ruined after that, and the whole family had left before they ordered any food. Now, I do understand that she could have seen it as a good opportunity as the entire family was all together, but after talking with my brother, I found out that they had known for a month before the trip, so they could easily have announced it before. My dad is staying neutral on this, and my brother is angry at me for embarrassing his wife, but understands my point of view. Some family members and Julie's mom are now calling me a not nice name over text for ruining an important moment for her. So am I the butthole? Edit. To answer some questions, my brother said that they had spoken about announcing it to my family, but had no idea she was going to do it at the time. I don't know for sure who sent Julie's mom my number, but based on evidence, I think I can assume it's Julie. I've sent the screenshots of messages I have received to my brother and blocked them. Thank you all for the insightful comments of support and not so much support. I will be going over to Julie's house 2 hours and 45 minutes away, far from me, but not impossible to talk things through, and may post an update based on how it goes. So I don't think you were necessarily a jerk. I think you could have said things a little bit better. I think you could have gone about it a little bit better. I don't know that you actually called her the words that you said, because you don't say what you said, unless that is what you said. And if you did say that was a little harsh. Maybe you could have worded it a little bit better, because I think it is what you said, that she was just trying to lighten the mood, and she didn't pick the best of times. Like you said, she didn't read the room. Um, but I don't think she was trying to harm anybody by doing that. She wasn't trying to hurt anybody's feelings. So I'm glad that you're going to have a talk with her, and I hope that went well. And I hope things are patched up now. Um, because yeah, you are going to be an aunt, and I want you to be able to still be in your brother's life and be able to be involved with this baby. Our next story. Am I the jerk for calling my daughter a terrible mother? My oldest daughter and I had a disagreement recently. I was very disappointed in her and expressed this to her, as well as my opinion that she is a terrible mother. She believes I'm wrong to judge her, so I want some perspective. My daughter was married twice. Her first husband died when their children were 9, 5, and 4. She met her second husband 18 months later and remarried after a year of dating and created a blended family with his daughter, who was 4 at the point of their marriage. My oldest grandson was destroyed by his dad's death. He was in therapy from the moment of his dad's death, something my husband and I had to pressure our daughter to seek because she was focused more on moving forward. But our grandson was hardly eating or sleeping and had difficulty in school. My daughter thanked me later for giving her the push. When my grandson started therapy, he was asking to keep a diary to help him. It was something that took him several months to use more than once a month, but he did grow to use it a lot. This diary was something for his eyes only. Not even the therapist read it. They just discussed anything he wished to. My daughter had more children with her second husband, and things were fine. When my grandson decided he wanted to attend college locally, he asked if he could live with my husband and myself, and we agreed. He moved in with us in mid-June. About a month later, I noticed something was going on, but I had no idea what. My other 2 grandchildren from my daughter's first marriage told me that their mom and brother were fighting because their mom had stolen his therapy diary while they were visiting us, and that she was angry about its contents. She was also mad at them because they were defending their brother. I spoke to my grandson, who was both angry and sad. He told me his mom was never supposed to read those. I spoke to my daughter next. She ranted to me about how my grandson had written about her husband and other children, including her stepdaughter. She said he never wanted her to move on, that he had wanted her to be alone forever, that he didn't even love his much younger siblings, just the 2 from her marriage to his dad. She said she couldn't look at him. I asked her if it was true she stole the diary. She was stunned, I would ask, and told me I should be focused more on the contents, especially when some of it was written right before he moved in with me. I told her it was kept in a diary and never vocalized to any of them. She said it didn't matter, and I said it did. She told me I should be on her side, that he should be shunned for writing so many awful things. This is when I expressed my disappointment in her, and I called her a terrible mother. Am I the jerk? No, you're not. Um, you're right to support your grandson. Um, and, bad behavior does need to be called out. Perhaps, maybe he could have done a little bit softer, maybe not quite called her a terrible mother, though she is being one, so maybe those words did need to be used. But you're right. He kept those words in a diary. He never said them out loud. You are allowed to think whatever you want to think. So he could have thought that all day long. He never acted upon those things. So she's getting mad over the wrong things. And wanting him to be shunned is completely outrageous. So, yeah, good on you for standing up for your grandson. I think this is our last one. And it's titled, Am I the Jerk for Getting Pissy with My Sister and for Asking Her Why She Got Pregnant if She Didn't Want Boys? Yeah, I mean, you do realize that when you get pregnant, it's pretty much a 50-50 chance that you have a boy, right? My sister, 29 female, and I, 26 male, are not close. We come from a toxic family. We have three other siblings neither of us speak to, and our parents were the overly strict kind of parents who veered into bullying with how tough they would be on us. Nothing was good enough. If we weren't getting A's, we were in trouble, and if we did get A's, but we didn't make any progress in our jobs that we had in high school, we were told that at their age, back in their home country, they were earning enough to help feed their families, and we were also expected to do well in school. Oh my goodness, how crazy. They would also say we had it good. Friends were overrated in our parents' eyes. Being sick was not an excuse to miss anything. One time, I was in the hospital after a severe allergic reaction, and my parents went to my teacher and brought me schoolwork to do. I was 8 years old at the time. Another time, I had a really bad flu, and my parents did let me stay home from school, but my B on the test we had the week I went back was a grounding offense. Wow, yeah, toxic family is definitely a word I would use for this. I never had a good relationship with any of my siblings, but my sister has made attempts for us to remain in touch, and she wants a closer relationship with me. But she has her issues left over from our parents that can make her unbearable. She calls herself my elder. Before we got married, she expected my help just because I was a man and she was a woman. We're both married now. My wife and I are expecting our second child. My sister is expecting her first. She invited my wife and I to lunch with her and her husband to announce the news to us and to announce they were having a boy. My sister was not happy. She started complaining that she wanted a family of all girls, and how could God do this to her? She said she'll never be the grandma. She'll always be the dad's mom, and if she's having a boy now, she's probably going to have a family of all boys. My wife pointed out that dad's family doesn't mean you're not close, and she pointed out that her mom is extremely close to her dad's family and that she never had a single thing to do with her mom's family. She also said that her three brothers and their families are very close and they are adored by their grandkids. My sister dismissed my wife's reasoning and said she knows nobody who could say that. She was also rude to her and told her she was interrupting a conversation she wasn't a part of. I got pissed at her for talking to my wife like that and told her she was out of line. In return, she was pissed and said it was easy for me to say because my wife and I are expecting a girl, that we didn't get stuck with a useless boy only. Oh my goodness. I lost my cool and asked her why she got pregnant then, if she was going to reject a boy and refuse to even try seeing it as a good thing. She told me because she wanted only girls and it was none of my business anyway. Am I the jerk? Oh my goodness. Oh, your sister needs some serious therapy. Serious therapy. Wow. Wow. I'm a little afraid of what's going to happen to this child once it's born. Once he's born. I mean, there is a possibility that once he's born and she sees him, that she will love him. But I'm afraid that once he's born, she's just going to just reject him. And, like, what does her husband think of all of this? Like, I mean, does he know? Oh, I've got so many questions there are no answers to. Oh my goodness. I feel so bad for this child. Boys are not useless. I am the parent to a boy. and I love my son. And I grew up in a fairly toxic family, and I didn't have the greatest male role models growing up. I had a couple of good ones, but most of them were really bad. But I would never take the bad male role models that I had in my life and say, just because I had these bad male role models in my life means that if I have a son, which I have now, that he's going to turn out like them. Never. It's all in how you raise them. It's your responsibility to raise your children in how you want them to behave. It's crazy. And with that, that is it. Whew. And if you like this video, please like this video. And please consider subscribing to my channel for more videos like this. And I will see you next time. Have a good one. Bye.